In late October 1981, The Cure had just wrapped up a tour of France to promote their album Faith. The following month gave them a bit of downtime, which they took advantage of by beginning work on their next album, Pornography. Before 1981 was over, they would go on an 8-show run in the UK, titled the 8 Appearances Tour. During these shows, they debuted 3 new songs, 100 Years, The Figurehead, and The Hanging Garden, all of which were rough drafts of the songs and are a bit different to the final studio versions. Immediately after this mini-tour was over, Robert would go into Pitbrook Mill Studio to begin recording demos for the album. One of these demos, named Temptation, was an upbeat, faster tempo song which was very different when compared to the other demos recorded in these sessions. We wouldn't hear of this demo until the 2005 deluxe version of Pornography was released. But before Christmas in 1981, The Cure would go into Maida Vale Studios to record their 5th Peel session, which once again included The Figurehead, 100 Years, The Hanging Garden, and now the Siamese Twins. Unfortunately, The Hanging Garden was never aired though. In a fanzine released in summer of '82, Robert stated that he had written a lot of the lyrics to the album in the dark winter hours of late December at his parents' home in Crawley. So I presume that the lyrics to Temptation were written at this time as well. A few weeks later, The Cure would head into Rack Studios to officially begin recording the album. Before recording had wrapped up, Simon Gallup, the bassist, would be interviewed by a fanzine titled The New Phenomena, where he would state that the tracklist would contain the song Temptation, and that all the backing tracks had been recorded, and all that needed to be done were the vocals and the album to be mixed. This is the only mention that we ever got of Temptation until the 2005 deluxe edition was released with the demo. In a newly unearthed interview that was recorded in April of '82, Robert stated that the band had booked 3 weeks into Rack Studios, and that they had to book another 2. So in total, the album would have taken 5 weeks. So if they entered the studio in late January, then recording would have wrapped up in the first week of March. And the reason why I'm bringing up these dates is to show you that the song was most likely completed. In the March 6 New Musical Express issue, an advert was posted to announce the upcoming UK tour to promote the album, and a Polydor spokesperson could not confirm whether or not the album would be titled Pornography. The next piece of material is the biggest clue that we have of the song's existence. A Polydor press folder that was included with a promotional 12-inch single with finalized mixing of 100 Years and The Hanging Garden. In this folder, a confirmed album title, as well as suggested tracks which named Temptation and Hanging Garden. This would have been printed after the album had finished recording, since Polydor couldn't confirm the album title during the week the album most likely had finished wrapped up in the studio. Along with the 12-inch single in the folder, an early version of the album cover was also included as an inlay. The pictures of the band for the cover were taken in March of 1982. In that same April interview I had mentioned previously, Robert is quoted here mentioning a song that could have been used as a single, but was left off the album.
I mean, there was one track which we haven't put on the album, which was considered as a single.
I assume the song he is mentioning here is Temptation. On March 29th, a test pressing of the completed album is issued, so between the time of the distribution of the folder and the test pressing, the song was chosen by the band to not be included on the album. And when listening to the demos, I can understand why. It is pretty bright and upbeat compared to the rest of the album. In the following months, the band went on a straining tour of the UK and Europe to promote the album, which ended with the implosion of the band. In July of the same year, Robert went into Mike Hedges' Playground Studios, where he decided to re-record Temptation, but with a drum machine and mumbled vocals, which were probably added to serve as a guide. In these lyrics, we can hear him end the verses with the word change. Which makes me wonder if these lyrics shown in the CD tray of the deluxe edition of Pornography were intended for Temptation. In these words, we could also see Siam, which was later used during the Let's Go to Bed sessions for the song Just One Kiss. At the end of this demo, he mumbles what would be the main melody to his next single, Let's Go to Bed. In 2001, around the time of the release of The Cure's greatest hits, Robert shared a collection of rarities on the band's website to coincide with the release of the compilation. In that collection was another version of Temptation that uses the same instrumental he recorded at Playground, but with a synthesizer playing on the main melody to Let's Go to Bed, but with no vocal guide at all. and that was when Temptation evolved into Let's Go to Bed, and we would never hear what was recorded for the song at Rack Studios. Perhaps the master tape is missing, so it wasn't included on the deluxe edition of Pornography, but nonetheless, I hope we get to hear what was recorded of that song someday, because it's my favorite demo from that era of the band. And if you have any further information, please feel free to share in the comments.